Italy's history with precious coral stretches back to the first millennium. Pliny the Elder noted a demand by India so high that corallium rubrum was uncommon in the coastal provinces that harvested the material. Ovid's Metamorphosis linked the origin of coral to the story of Perseus. Having petrified Cetus, the sea monster threatening the princess Andromeda, Perseus placed Medusa's head on the shore while he washed his hands. When he recovered her head, he saw that her blood had turned the seaweed into vibrant red coral. The Old Greek word for coral is agorgeia, as Medusa was one of the three Gorgon sisters. Italians have long since used coral as a protective amulet, especially for infants and children, since the time of the Romans. However, the precious stone was particularly popular during the Renaissance for babies and unmarried women against illness and the evil eye. Such traditional amulets were meant to keep the wearer from harm both physically and spiritually. Paradoxically, the stone connected the wearer physically and spiritually to the Passion of Christ. Red coral from the sea was, in the eyes of the faithful, symbolic of the blood of his sacrifice. In fact, intellectuals could recognize the tree-like branching of the coral as the tree of the crucifix and often used it to represent the cross in abstract or elaborate spaces. The Italian Renaissance, spanning from the 14th to the 17th century, was a period of profound cultural revitalization. It was a time when scholars, artists, and thinkers sought to rediscover the wisdom of ancient civilizations while embedding these ideas solidly within the framework of Christian theology. This blending of old and new, sacred and secular, created a rich and convoluted tapestry of cultural reality. This phenomenon, better known as syncretism, is defined as the blending or merging of different religious, cultural, or philosophical beliefs and practices into a new, cohesive system. This process often occurs when distinct cultures or religions come into contact with each other, leading to the integration of elements from each tradition. Syncretism can be seen in many aspects of society, from religious rituals and symbols to art, literature, and even language. In the context of religion, syncretism allows for the coexistence of multiple belief systems within a single framework. This can lead to the reinterpretation of traditional symbols, rituals, and deities, aligning them with new spiritual or cultural contexts. Far from diluting these beliefs, syncretism often enriches them, creating a more complex and layered understanding of the world. The Italian Renaissance was a fertile ground for syncretism, as it was a time of great cultural exchange and intellectual exploration. The Renaissance was characterized by a revival of interest in the classical knowledge of ancient Greece and Rome, which had been largely forgotten during the Middle Ages. Scholars, artists, and thinkers sought to rediscover and integrate the wisdom of these ancient civilizations into the dominant Christian worldview of the time. This led to the blending of pagan and Christian traditions in various aspects of Renaissance life. For example, ancient Roman and Greek gods and goddesses were often reinterpreted in Renaissance art and literature, sometimes appearing alongside Christian saints or as allegorical figures. Similarly, pagan symbols and motifs, like the laurel wreath or the caduceus, were adapted and incorporated into Christian iconography. In religious practices, this syncretism was evident in the way that local folk traditions and pagan customs were absorbed into Christian rituals. Festivals, processions, and even the design of religious buildings often reflected a blend of old and new, with Christian celebrations sometimes taking place on the same dates as ancient pagan holidays, repurposing them with new meanings. The use of red coral is a clear example of syncretism during the Italian Renaissance. Originally a symbol of protection in ancient Mediterranean paganism, coral was seamlessly integrated into Christian iconography, where it came to symbolize the blood of Christ. Much like red coral's manifestations during the period, syncretism allowed Renaissance culture to be deeply rooted in the current Catholic tradition while also embracing ancient history. It created a rich, multifaceted society where different beliefs and traditions could coexist and even enhance one another, leading to an era of extraordinary creativity and intellectual achievement.